Today's port report is from Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is super compact and walkable. Well, mostly. And chock full of stuff to do within walking distance. Here's port details and our top 5 things to do. I'm Troy, and this is the Port Lowdown. Halifax is in South Nova Scotia, Canada, facing the North Atlantic. As the capital of the province, the city has loads of things to do, from the famous Citadel to the Fairview Lawn Cemetery, where many of the Titanic victims are buried, and numerous museums and parks. There are also excursions beyond here, particularly to the picturesque village of Peggy's Cove, a roughly 1-hour drive southwest. Since Peggy's Cove is likely a 3 to 4 hour total trip, either on your own or with a tour, you'll still have a few hours to explore in town. Halifax Port is right at the foot of the city. It's a long, sprawling facility which integrates with museums, shopping, galleries, offices, and an extensive harbor walk. Pavilions 20 and 22 are the main berths, with 22 being the most central and always in use. There's also a Pavilion 23, sometimes used for smaller vessels, which is noted for its farmers market on the weekends. We landed at 22, and I was pretty surprised at how big and extensive the facilities were. A huge shopping concourse, toilets, tourist info, food, lots of seating outside where the tour buses park, a huge spread-out parking lot and taxi, private tour and rideshare pickup directly in front of the next-door Pavilion 21. And bagpipes. Gotta have bagpipes. Ship tours meet directly in front, of course. Private tour buses, like the pink double-decker ho-ho buses you get at the last minute, a few minutes walk north up the sidewalk. All along this area are more stores and restaurants. Now continue past Garrison's Brewery and cross Marginal Road, turn right and follow the curve to Terminal Road, then turn left and down Hollis Street, and you'll be in an area with more helpful services. Hertz and Dollar Rent-A-Car are at the Westin, Nova Scotia, Enterprise, National, and Alamo Car Rental at the rail station. Next door south is the Atlantic Superstore, for all your sundry needs, and ATM. And behind this on Barrington is a Tim Hortons for a true taste of Canada. Hockey cards. Now here's my top 5, making a loop around the main part of the city. Number 1, Harbor Walk and Halifax Waterfront. Now turn right from the port and start walking north. It's a flat 10-minute walk past the terminals and to the start of Harbor Walk and the Halifax Waterfront. It's a beautiful space that's a great intro to the city. Wide, long, and modern with distinctive and funky art. Great harbor views, bike and scooter rentals, clean restrooms, and restaurants, of course. I tried my hand at poutine, fries and gravy with cheese curd. Honestly, not my thing, but glad I tried. Also, this space is wonderful for kids, with lots of sidewalk attractions, and museums like the Science Discovery Center and the Maritime Museum, which features lots of interactive displays and a star parrot. For a single adult, good for a few hours if you take your time, snack, and check out a museum. With family in tow, the kids may not want to leave. Number 2, Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. Working your way out of the waterfront from the ferry terminal, turn left to George Street for 2 blocks and then turn left. You'll find an extensive and beautiful gallery space, the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia, known for housing the work of Maud Lewis, who overcame rheumatoid arthritis to become one of Canada's most famous folk artists. After she died, her small painted house was moved and put on display here in this building. There's also lots of bold and interesting pieces here, often from native artists, within 2 buildings. The quality of the work is splendid and surprising. For art lovers, worth a good 1 to 2 hours. Number 3, the Citadel. Continue up George Street, through the park, and hike up to the end. Take your time.
Whew. Wow, this place is bigger than I thought it was going to be. Pretty decent hill.
You can't miss the telltale Old Town clock facing the Citadel, the city's #1 attraction. Coming up this way is definitely not the easy way. Take an Uber or taxi if you're not on tour and don't feel like a hike. The Citadel is a star-shaped fort that was built in late 1700s to defend the coast. Naturally, it commands a great view of the city. The barracks, ramparts, and tunnels are all interesting to explore, if a bit challenging for wheelchair visitors. Steep gravel slopes, lots of stairs. However, there are some elevators with museum exhibits on the ground floor. Just mind the ground is all gravel. Now this is Halifax 101, the site most people check off as essential. But it's also fun to explore, with lots of historical context to guide you. Just be in decent shape to enjoy it all. Good for about 1 to 2 hours. Number 4, Halifax Public Gardens. Work your way south and 1 block west to this lovely manicured garden park, a Victorian-era oasis in the heart of Halifax. Established in 1867, these 16-acre gardens boast manicured flower beds, ornate statues, and peaceful walking paths. It's a popular spot for locals and visitors alike to take in the beauty. And there's a lot of beauty to take in. Worth about a half hour to an hour. Longer if you want to grab a sandwich and relax by the small lake. By the way, if you enjoy being an independent and informed cruiser, hit us up with a like. And consider subscribing. We're putting out videos every week about port reports, ship tours, and tips. And thank you so much for all your views, support, and comments. It means the world to us. And finally, number 5, Canadian Museum of Immigration. Now walk down Spring Mountain Road, turn right on Barrington, and work your way back to the ship. At Pier 21 sits the Canadian Museum of Immigration, a beautifully done and fascinating museum about the immigration experience to Canada, where Halifax played a major role. Halifax was Canada's version of Ellis Island in New York, with most immigrants walking through Pier 21 between 1928 and 1971. There are lots of interactive displays, focusing on individual stories from people all over the world. Good for 2 hours, easy. Halifax is one of the most conveniently laid out, compact, and attraction-dense port I've been to yet. I'll be back for another trip for sure. Honestly, this place won't disappoint, no matter what you choose. Got any suggestions from your time here? Let us know in the comments.